Chapter number 6 is very much important to us when it comes to the novel. Last week we discussed about chapter number 6. I have already sent you the recording, so make sure to go through the recording. We discussed about the book. So normally in the class, we read the book very carefully and we mark all the difficult words, and after that there will be a teacher's note. So when it comes to your videos, in that particular video, it will clearly mention that whether you have got a explanation of the text or else the teacher's explanation, right? So both are there when it comes to novels. So in chapter number 6, so many important things happen. Throughout the novel, we can see the communication problem between Jagannath and Mali. So Jagan came to the shop. Soon after he came to the shop, his best friend, Kazim, actually explained him about the Mali's new idea. What is Mali's new idea? Mali is going to start what do you call company. This company is known as Mali Enterprises, where he is going to import story writing machines from America and he is going to sell them in Malgudi. That is the business that he had been planning for a long period of time, and Jagan did not know anything about that. So because of that reason, Jagan was totally upset, right? Jagan was totally upset because Jagan had to get all the information about his own son from a third party. I hope you can understand now. Jagan is the father, right? Mali is the son, but they did not have very good communication. As a result of that, Jagan had to take all the communication, all the important news and all the information from a third party. So more than Jagannath, Kazim knew about Mali's plans and Mali's ambitions. So this created some kind of problem in Jagannath, and furthermore, this created some kind of communication gap or else a conflict between father and son. However, Kazim explained that your son is going to import story writing machines to India. He is going to start his own business, but he could not do that because he didn't have enough money. He does not have enough money to start the business or else to buy the subscription, right? It is nearly 200 lakhs from Indian rupees. So Jagan was totally upset. Jagan thought that his son is actually asking this money from him. So Mali is under the wrong impression that his father has received a lot of money from the business. So as a result of that, Mali is expecting some kind of help from Jagannath to initiate his business. So Jagan was totally upset because Jagan didn't know anything about any plans about Mali's business or else. And sometimes Jagan got to know all this information from Kazim. Actually, Kazim, even though Kazim is the best friend, my dear students, make sure to remember he is a third party. A father should know about the behavior of a son, whatever the incidents, whatever the decisions taken by his own son. But unfortunately, Mali did not reveal all the information to his father. This is one of the major important things. So, however, Jagan wanted to meet Mali, so Jagan went to meet Mali. At that time, Mali's behavior is very much cynical, right? As audience, we can clearly understand. As a son, he did not treat his father well, right? So, father had to wait inside his own house as an alien, right? Father had to wait inside his own house as an alien because Mali actually asked father to come after giving some kind of an appointment, right? So a father had to take appointment from his own son to meet him, right? Just imagine the situation. This is what we call the pitiful situation of a father. Now, Mali was very busy at that time period. So Grace actually informed Mali that your father is here to see you. At that time, Mali said that, okay, I will give some time for him, which means that you should take an appointment. You can't meet me like that, right? So can you tell your father like that, right? That kind of behavior we never encourage from a child. But Mali's snobbish characteristics can be clearly identified when we go through chapter number 6. So Mali has changed. So Jagan was totally upset about that. Mali actually humiliated his father several times. But the most important fact is, my dear students, Mali, even though Mali humiliated his father, even though Mali neglected his father, Jagan did not do like that. Jagan always provided his support to his son, right? Until chapter number 13, we can see that as a father, what kind of support actually given by him. So we have to understand that even though Mali did not show his love, show his attention towards Jagannath, Jagannath did not do like that. So however, Jagan met him and Jagan directly asked, right? So is it true that you are going to start a business like this? What is the name of your business? Mali Enterprises. Okay, right. What are you going to do there? So I am going to buy all these story writing machines from America and I am going to sell them in India because after Mahabharata and Ramayana in our country, the people, they are not enthusiastic to write any of their books or else any magazine. So my major intention is to each and every house, they should possess a story writing machine. So they can write their own stories. That is my major motive. This is what Mali said. So Jagan asked the question, do you think that people in this particular country, people, especially when it comes to Malgudi, do you think that these people have enough money to buy story writing machines? Because they don't have even money to buy a washing machine, which is much more important than a story writing machine, right? So do you think that people are capable of buying these story writing machines? Do you think that this business will become a success? That was the question actually asked by Jagannath, right? So Grace also helped Mali, and Grace said that, Father, your son is very much enthusiastic and he is an entrepreneur. So he has got some innovative ideas. Definitely he will improve the business. So Mali actually explained about the story writing machine to Jagannath. So Jagannath listened to that, and we found some important quotations in chapter number 6. If you participated in the class last week, I explained that. So Jagan said to Grace, Grace, do you know that our ancestors, they never wrote these epics, right? They never wrote these epics. They came from generation to generation, from the breath of people, right? So they did not write anything, Mahabharata, Ramayana. Our grandparents used to tell them to us. We didn't write anything like novels and short stories. Then Mali said that, oh, Father, those were the days in your ancestors' time period. But today, we have to compete with new technology, right? With the globalization, we have to continue. So you can clearly understand the conflict between traditional and modern culture as well when you go through this chapter, right? So these chapters are very much important. So as students who are getting ready for your ordinary level examination, make sure to remember chapters are important. So remember what actually occurs in this particular chapter, because without having any ideas about the chapters and important incidents and quotations, you will never be able to understand the story, right? So you should know in this particular chapter, this is what happens, right? So these things are very much important. So Jagan was a little bit upset about Mali's religion, but Jagan was having some kind of a bittersweet occasion here. He was a little bit upset because Mali continued each and everything in his life without informing his father. Mali did not reveal anything to his father. His entire life was a secret, so he did not reveal anything to his father because he thought that it will create number of problems. On the other hand, Jagan was really happy because he really enjoyed Mali's integrity and Mali's individuality, where Mali did each and everything alone without asking help from his father. So as a father, he really enjoyed that. So this can be identified as a bittersweet occasion. Sometimes Jagan is happy about Mali's behavior, and sometimes we can see Jagan is little bit upset about Mali's behavior as well. So, however, what we can clearly understand here is that Grace's arrival is very much important, and Grace can be identified as a woman who gives her 100% when it comes to her service. She gives her 100% for the betterment of Mali, right? If you compare Grace's character with Ambika, but Ambika has not given that much of support to Jagannath because they always had their own problems because of Jagan's blind, belief towards traditionality, right? As a result of that, Ambika did not like Jagan. But if you compare Ambika's character with Grace, right? So Grace is a character who always likes to help Mali, but Mali did not marry her at the end of the day. So Mali actually took the maximum advantage from her by taking her money. At the end of the day, Mali did not marry her, right? So we can clearly understand those things as well. So if you can remember, can you tell me from which paragraph that we have to start with? Did we discuss about this part? Anyone? Can you please tell me whether we have discussed about this part? I think we have completed these parts. Right, okay. So did we discuss about, right. Shall we start from here? Did we discuss? All right. So page number, in my book, it is page number 84. Can you tell me in your book, like in the pink color book, what is the page number? In pink color book, what is the page number? So we are going to start with page number 83. Thank you, Sony. What is the paragraph number? Page number 83, what is the paragraph? And wishing the beggar would leave him alone. Fortunately, he slipped off of Pester. Some other person come in the opposite direction. and Jagan quickened his pace. Right, fourth paragraph. Right, we are going to start from here. So if you have books, please make sure to go to page number 83. Now we are going to start from there. Can you remember the beggar? Can you remember the beggar? The beggar's character is very much important because when Mali was in America, when Mali was sending all these letters, later Jagan got to know that these letters are not written by Mali. All these letters are written by Grace, right? So later he got to know about that. So this beggar's behavior is very much important, my dear students. So when Jagan did not have anyone to, right, share all these experiences of his son, he used to give money for this particular beggar, and he asked this beggar to listen to his stories about Great Grand Canyon and Kennedy's assassination, some kind of important incidents which were included in Mali's blue-collar airmails. Now, the beggar, he wanted money, so he used to listen to all these stories. The beggar did not care whether these things are real or not, so beggar wanted money. So the beggar used to listen to all these stories. Now, the same beggar is coming to meet Jagannath. Now Jagan is little bit upset because Jagan was under the notion that definitely this beggar will come and ask Jagannath about the Mali's behavior, right? Because Jagan used to tell about Mali's lifestyle and behavior when he was in America. Now the beggar knew that actually Mali came to India or else Malgudi. Now Jagan was little bit upset that the beggar will come and beggar will ask about Mali's behavior. So Jagan didn't have any answer to give. So once we can understand, I explained that. So Jagan was really happy about Mali's behavior soon after he went to America, right? So he thought that his son is getting good education, and he was really happy about Mali. But now we can realize he is not happy about Mali's behavior, right? He came with a half Korean, half American girl called Grace. And this particular marriage actually created a number of problems when it comes to the tradition, Indian culture. So whenever Jagan goes outside, right, people came to him and asked, Jagannath, your son is married to a half Korean, half American girl. Why did you allow to do that type of marriage? Because you are the greatest disciple of Mahatma Gandhi, right? Why did you allow your son to do like that? So Jagan did not have any answers. So here in this novel, we can understand Jagan as a pitiful character, my dear students. The reason is that Jagan was really helpless, right? If you read the novel very carefully, you will realize Jagan can be identified as a character who is really helpless, not because of the actions done by him, but because of the actions done by Mali, right? So Mali actually came with a half Korean, half American girl without informing his father. It is not Jagan's fault, right? Can you understand? It is not Jagan's fault, but at the end of the day, the suffocation, all the repercussions were actually faced by Jagannath, right? Jagannath faced all the realities, right? So he had to answer the society because of the actions done by Mali. So this part you have to remember very carefully. Right, so we will move on from there. And Jagan quickened his pace, passing to printing. He spied Nataraj alone at his desk and on impulse stopped to ask, I hope you have not forgotten my work. So Jagan is asking the question from Nataraj because Jagan has given a book about traditional medicine, different types of traditional medicine, and he wrote a book about that. And he has given that book to Nataraj. Who is Nataraj? Nataraj is the printer, right? Nataraj is the printer. So Jagan has given this book to Nataraj in order to print. Now it had been given long time ago, right? It had been given long time ago, but still Nataraj has not finished the work, right? Nataraj has not finished the work. So always Jagan is asking the question whether you have completed my printing. I want to print my book, whether you have completed my work, right? So Nataraj says, no, I have not forgotten your work. How could I, say Nataraj? As soon as the pressure of this seasonal printing lessons you will be first. I am your family printer, you know. Your son has given me some urgent work which he wants in 3 days, the prospects of new enterprise, right? So this is something very important, my dear students. So this particular person says, no, I have not forgotten your book. Don't misunderstand. I have not forgotten your book. Definitely, I will print this now, these days, this season, right? So I have a lot of work to do. Soon after this work finished, definitely I will do your. On the other hand, your son has given me set of leaflets to print, right? He's going to start a new business. Don't you know about that? So can you understand? Jagan didn't know anything about these things, right? Jagan didn't have a clue at all. So this is where we discuss one of the major themes of the novel. communication gap between father and son. You can also call this as generation gap. But the best idea that I can give you is that communication gap. Communication gap. What do you mean by communication gap? Now, Jagan and Mali, they did not have very good communication. So, Mali did not reveal, Mali did not expose any of his personal details or else professional details, professional information to his father. So Jagan got to know all this information from an outsider. So this created number of problems. Now this is something important, right? This is something very much important. Jagan had to know all this information from an outsider, right? Sometimes from Kasi, sometimes from another person, another citizen, or else from Nataraj. So Jagan didn't know anything about that. So really, my son gave you some leaflets to be printed? Seriously? Yeah, he is going to start a new business. Don't you know about that? Right? So he gave me the leaflet. So these days I'm printing all these things. He said that it is quite urgent. Right? Okay. Exclaimed Jagan. Nataraj pushed up his roll top and produced a proof sheet on which Jagan saw his name in print as one of the principal promoters of Mali Enterprises. So without informing his father, Mali has used the name of Jagannath as one of the business promoters of Mali Enterprises. Can you understand what happened here? Right? So Mali, nobody knows Mali. Right? Nobody knows Mali when it comes to Malgudi. Right? He is not that much famous character. Even though he is trying to become famous, right? Nobody actually recognizes him because of his snobbish European characteristics. But Jagannath is a very famous person because of the Gandhian attitude and what kind of lifestyle that he is always trying to have throughout his life. So as a result of that, Mali has taken the maximum advantage of that. So he has initiated his company called Mali Enterprises, and without asking from his father, he has used Jagan's name as one of the business promoters, right? What is the reason? Right? The reason is that people will believe, people will have some kind of reliability on this particular company because Jagan's name is there. Even though they do not know about Mali, they do know about Jagannath. So definitely people will believe, people will have some kind of reliability on this particular company because Mali has used the Jagan's name. But we have a problem here, my dear students. Mali has used, right, his father's name without asking from his father. Now this will create number of problems, right? Mali has used his father's name without asking from his father. This will create number of problems, right? We will move on. The others in the list were Grace and a few of Mali's scooter riding friends. So obviously, people in Malgudi, they will definitely they will definitely don't understand the behavior of Grace or else the scooter riding friends. So here, Jagan is actually used as a guinea pig, right? Jagan is used as a guinea pig, or else Jagan is used as an animal who is about to be tested, right? So that is what we can understand here. So Jagan's name, without informing Jagannath, Jagan's reputation, right? That is what we call reputation, right? His name is being used by Mali without informing his father. This created a problem. Jagan replied in a hollow tone, yes, no doubt. Seems to be an interesting new kind of enterprise. Yes, no doubt. Right? So Jagan gives the answers like that. Yes, no doubt. He had a doubt. He had a doubt. He didn't have any clue about this business, right? But the beauty of Jagan's behavior is that he did not want to reveal whatever the problems that he had with his son to the outside world. This is very much important. This is the message that you have to understand. As a father, he did not want to reveal all these problems to the outside world, right? So from this behavior, you can clearly understand it. See the behavior? Yes, no doubt. Yes, no doubt. Yes, obviously, my son, yes, obviously. But he didn't have any idea. He didn't have any clue at all. So soon after he saw this, he was really upset. He was really upset because without asking from me, how can my son use my name like that, right? How can my son use my name like that? He was totally upset. But he did not show that in front of other people. He can't show that because the problem is between father and son. You can't show that to the outside world, right? This is clearly depicted, right? I hope you can understand. He hurriedly left for his shop as the cook stood before him, taking instructions for the day. He feared he too might begin to speak of the story writing machine, but luckily, this man's universe of kitchen smoke and frying, oil had lost oil and lost its impurity yet. Occupying his throne with the scent of incense and frying, Jagan recovered and let his eyes rest on the copy of the Bhagavad Gita. Right? Give me a second, students. Give me a second. Right. So we will move on from there. He hurriedly left for his shop. Yes, we discussed about that part. Occupying his throne with the scent of incense and pride, Jagan recovered a little bit of his sense of security. He opened the drawer and let his eyes rest on the copy of the Bhagavad Gita for a while, opened a page at random and tried to get absorbed in its eternal message. But a part of his mind was deeply injured by the Right, we are moving to the next page. Injured by the sight of his own name in print on the prospects. Now, Jagan wanted to forget this. Jagan wanted to forget this. That is why he took the Bhagavad Gita. Now, from chapter number 1 to chapter number 3, my dear students, Jagan always read Bhagavad Gita, right? Bhagavad Gita can be taken as the holy book of Hindus, right? So he used to read Bhagavad Gita. So he used to give some certain advices to other people by reading Bhagavad Gita as well. So this is one of the major characteristics that we saw. But soon after Mali went to America, this Bhagavad Gita was replaced by blue color yarmulkes. Bhagavad Gita was replaced by blue color yarmulkes. So more than the Bhagavad Gita, Jagan preferred to read blue color yarmulkes sent by his son. But later he realizes that all these letters are not written by Mali. All these letters are actually written by Grace. Later he realized. So now again, Jagan is moving to Bhagavad Gita, which clearly shows us now that love, that connection, that emotion that Jagan had towards his son cannot be seen, right? Cannot be seen. So little by little, right, gradually we can clearly understand that love Jagan had, that emotion Jagan had, it is getting deteriorating, or else that degradation can be seen. The downfall can be seen, right? In the 13th chapter, when Mali was taken to the police station, Jagan did not bother about Mali's future. Jagan openly said that if my son has done a mistake, he should repay for that. He should repay for that. He should have to wait in the jail. I am not coming to save him. So he took that kind of a stern decision in chapter number 13, right? So from chapter number 1 to chapter number 13, we can clearly see a downfall of Jagan's emotional love. Not because of Jagan's fault, but because of Mali's behavior. Not because of Jagan's fault, but because of Mali's behavior. You have to remember that. So Jagan was totally upset, even though he wanted to read Bhagavad Gita. Now he was thinking what is going to happen, right? Why did this particular boy has used my name? So here you can clearly understand that sight of his own name in print on the prospects. How could Mali perpetrate such a deed? Take so much for granted. But the poor boy probably had complete confidence in his father's support. Can you understand, right? So Jagan was always thinking about from the perspective of Mali as well. So if you read very carefully, you can understand, right? There he was saying, how could Mali perpetrate such a deed? Take so much for granted, right? What kind of power that he has to, what kind of power that he has to use my name in that particular book, right? He was angry. He was angry. At the same time, see the dialogue, at the same time, but the poor boy probably had complete confidence in his father's support, and there was nothing heinous in that, right? So that part is very much important. If you can highlight that, make sure to highlight that part. It clearly shows Jagan's unconditional love, right? It clearly shows us Jagan's unconditional love. If you can highlight that, right? So here, but the poor boy probably had complete confidence in his father's support, and there was nothing heinous in that, right? So Jagan's ultimate unconditional love can be identified in this particular line. Whatever said and done, Jagan's unconditional love is something that we cannot underestimate, right? Throughout the novel, this we cannot underestimate. What is the reason? Whatever the humiliation, whatever the neglection, ill treatment given by Mali, Jagan did not give up. Parents will not give up on their children. This is the reality that you have to understand. Parents will never give up on their children, right? We will move on. It was quite natural. Still, he should at least have had the courtesy to mention it to him. That is okay, that is fine, right? He has taken my name, that is totally fine, but at least he should have told me. At least he should have told me. That was the idea, right? okay, he can take my name. Okay, however, he is my only son, one and only son, right? Obviously, he can take my name and he can use my name. There is no doubt about that. But there is something called courtesy. There is something called courtesy. He should have, if he is going to use my name, he should have told me. That was the problem. Where is that politeness? Where is that courtesy? This is the question actually Jagan wanted to ask from his son, right? So we will move on. It was quite natural. Still, he should at least have had the courtesy to mention it to him. Neither Grace nor Mali, but perhaps they had been hanging about his puja room to inform him of that rather than ask for capital, and he blamed himself for not giving them a chance. On the other hand, he thought that sometimes they may have come to meet me, but I am not waiting inside the house. So sometimes they may have missed me, right? Most probably these two, Mali and Grace, they may have come to see me, but normally I am not waiting in the puja room. So I may have missed them or they may have missed me. Something like that can occur. Right. So we will move on from there. Right. Right. Whoever the American associate was, he had done his coaching perfectly, and Nataraj has also proved extraordinarily prompt. The city was soon flooded with the prospects of Mali's company. The first one came by post to Jagan himself at his shop. It went into the cultural shortcomings of the country and the need for it to take its place in the committee of the nation, and how this machine was going to cut time and distance and lift the country out of its rut. And then followed many facts and figures. One thing Jagan noted was that the jungles of Mempi Hills would provide the soft wood required for some part of the machine, and it could be had for a song. Then it went into details of the production and marketing and location. Jagan now realized that the son, the kerosene agent, was actually the economic brain behind the whole show. A young fellow in jeans and striped shirt who rode a scooter and carried Mali on the pillion seat. Very soon they abandoned the scooter and were seen moving about in an old automobile. Grace explained to Jagan one morning, the company have now made a start with an automobile. Although it is an old one, it is useful. One has to move about so much on business nowadays. What car is it? It looks green, said Jagan, out of the polite need to say something and not wishing to ask, what is its price? Who has paid for it? Now, what happened here, my dear students? What you can understand here is that now Mali has changed his attitude, his lifestyle. What has happened here now? Mali understood that, okay, I am a businessman, but he is not a businessman. Try to understand this, right? So he behaved like a businessman. This is what we call snobbish characteristics, right? Snobbish. SNOBBISH. Snobbish characteristics, right? So he is going to pretend himself. Now, he bought a car, right? He bought a car. So Jagan wanted to ask whose money? Jagan wanted to ask the question whose money, right? But Jagan did not ask. They bought a car, and they have actually sent a letter to Jagannath as well, explaining the fact that, okay, father, we are going to start a business like this. So you are a business promoter. So without informing his father, they have sent him a letter. So we can clearly understand that as father and son, they have some kind of official relationship. They don't have any kinship, or else they don't have any relationship from the blood. No emotional relationships, right? They had some kind of official relationship. That is why Mali used to write a letter to his father. This is terrible, right? So this is what you can understand. Their relationship, the problem in their relationships, right? We call that communication gap. This is what we call communication gap, right? Okay, so Mali has bought a car as well. It is green in color. So Jagan was very happy about that. On the other hand, Jagan was thinking how Mali can afford such thing, because Jagan is the person who is providing all the food and beverages and everything as well. So Mali is not going to earn anything, and Mali is not going to pay a penny to whatever the expenditures that Jagan does in his particular house. But Jagan was thinking that, okay, how this particular person has bought this kind of car, right? So Jagan had that problem. So Mali's snobbish characteristics can be clearly identified. So we are in page number 85, my dear students. Now we are moving to page number 86, right? So I don't know in your book what is the page number. Can you please tell me what is the page number? I hope that you guys can see the screen. Anyone? Can you please tell me the page number? Right, it is page number 83 in my, okay, right. In your book, it is 83. What is the paragraph number, Puta? Right, okay. So we will move on from there. Grace replied, "It's pretty, isn't it?" And Jagan lapsed into the meditation before the gods and remained in meditation until she moved away from the threshold and he could hear her talking to Mali in the front portion of the house. Gandhi has taught me peaceful methods, and that is how I am going to meet their demand. These two are bent upon involving me in all sorts of things, he reflected. So Gandhian activity is always reflected by Jagannath, right? Because throughout the novel, Puta, here we can understand, Pute, like Jagan is introduced as the rebirth of Mahatma Gandhi. Jagan is introduced as the rebirth of Mahatma Gandhi, right? So whatever the characteristics possessed in Mahatma Gandhi, Jagan used to perform them more better than Mahatma Gandhi. Right? Try to understand in that perspective, right? So whatever the attitudes, whatever the lessons given by Mahatma Gandhi, Jagan used to perform them the way more better than Mahatma Gandhi, right? So this is what you have to understand, right? So we will move on from there. He reflected he was bewildered by his son's scheme and distrusted it totally. He was aware that pressure was being subtly exercised on him to make him part with cash. He was going to meet the situation by ignoring the whole business, a sort of non-violent and non-cooperation. But he found his domestic life irksome. He had lost the quiet joy of anticipation he used to experience whenever he turned the statue corner. He felt nervous as he approached the ancient house. The expectant stare of Grace when she opened the door and the significant side glances of Mali got in his nerves. He was aware of silent tension growing. He felt happy if nobody came when he turned the key in the door, as at the times when both of them were away. Grace shopping and Mali with his local associates in his green car. Thank God, Jagan thought, for the green car when he was in. If he heard them open the front door, he retreated far into the backyard of the house or sometimes even locked himself in the waiting shack. So this entire paragraph clearly shows us Jagan became an outsider in his own house. Jagan preferred isolation more than being with Grace and Mali, right? Being with Grace and Mali is something that Jagan did not enjoy. Jagan needed some kind of isolation. Jagan needed some kind of emancipation. You can use that word, emancipation from this world, right? So that is why, right, in the 11th chapter, 12th chapter, we will meet another character called Chinnadurai. That is why Jagan is moving to the jungle, the Nallappa's group, right? Soon after Jagan went to the jungle, Jagan realized that all these years, what kind of monotonous life that I led myself, right? This is what Jagan understands, right? Alienation inside his own house. Exactly, yes. Jagan did not like this, right? Jagan wanted to be a different character. He did not want to meet Mali. He did not want to meet Grace because Jagan knew that definitely if Jagan met them, definitely a problem would occur because sometimes they will ask for money or else some kind of issue will occur. So Jagan always wanted to be isolated. So his life has changed, right? His life has changed. He did not enjoy his life now inside the house. He did not like the lifestyle basically, right? This is what we can understand. So we will move on from there. But the state of non-cooperation could not last forever, even though Jagan liked to have that non-cooperation, even though Jagan wanted to have some kind of distance, it did not last long for a long period of time. Right. But the state of non-cooperation could not last forever. Grace asked him one morning point blank, have you thought over the proportion? So Grace came to the situation and Grace asked, have you thought about the proportion? Have you thought about the proportion, father? So Grace is the one who raised the question. Jagan felt cornered. If he had just picked up his upper cloth minutes earlier, he could have reached the street by now. Grace had studied his movements and timed her in the by perception perfectly. He had dodged the encounter for 2 weeks by sheer maneuvering of arrival and departure. So Grace knew that Jagan will definitely go out of the house. At what time this particular person goes out of the house and at what time he will be inside the house, right? Grace judged that to perfection and then only she came and asked that question. Now Jagan was upset. What is the reason? Because Jagan cannot escape now. Jagan cannot escape definitely. Jagan has to continue the conversation, right? That was the problem, right? So I will move on to the next part. Page number 87, if I'm not mistaken, we are in your book. You can refer to what is the page, right? Okay, I hope that you guys can see the screen. Can you see the screen? Please pass me a message. Is this visible to you? Right, okay, thank you. Now he felt trapped. He wanted to say, leave these questions for men folk to settle, keep away, you charmer from outer Mongolia or somewhere. That is what he wanted to say. Right? He wanted to escape. He did not like this. He did not like this. He wanted to escape because he never enjoyed that relationship, right? He never enjoyed that relationship, right? He never accepted Grace as her daughter, as his daughter-in-law. He never accepted, right? He never accepted Mali, right? Because he never thought that Mali will show this kind of behavior patterns. So Jagan was totally upset. Jagan was totally upset. He didn't even want to talk with them, right? He didn't even want to talk with them, right? He didn't like them. She had stuck a flower with a pin in her bobbed hair, and he longed to tell her, take off that flower, it's ridiculous. He merely remarked, I see that you have jasmine in your hair this morning. As it's a Friday, I have remembered my duties as a Hindu wife. I have also washed the doorsteps and decorated the threshold with the white flower. I went to a shop yesterday to get it. See what I have done. She was so importunate that he had to look cheerful and follow her out. She pointed at the floral design on the ground and cried, don't you believe now that I would have been a Hindu in my last life? I am able to bend down and draw the design on the floor as I see a lot of others. So this entire paragraph clearly shows you the theory of adaptation. The theory of adaptation. I told you how many characters are there? 3 characters. Jagannath, Mali, Grace. Jagannath belonged to the traditional society. He cannot move to the modern society, even though he knew the truth. He was not ready to adapt himself. So that is Jagannath. On the other hand, who we have? We have Mali. Mali was living in the traditional society. So soon after he went to America, he became an American and he came to the Malgudi. He came to Malgudi and he became a westernized character. But even he could not change according to the ways and means of Malgudi. So his life is also a failure. But if you take Grace, Grace can be identified as the great character because she adapted to the culture. She adapted to the culture. This particular paragraph is a very good example how she adapted to the Indian culture and Indian tradition. How she adapted to the Indian culture and Indian tradition. This particular paragraph is a very good example, my dear students. You can highlight the paragraph and you can write down. This particular paragraph clearly shows us how Grace adapted to the culture. How Grace adapted to the culture. This part is very much important. Right, so we will move on from there. Jagan wanted to say so many things, right? Jagan wanted to say so many things, but Jagan did not tell. Jagan wanted to tell so many things, but Jagan did not tell, right? Jagan wanted to say an Orthodox Hindu woman would never clip her hair as you have done, right? An Orthodox Hindu woman will never behave like that. You are a bloody half Korean, half American wife. Since because you have a flower on your hair, you cannot be an Indian bride. Can't you understand that? That is what Jagan wanted to tell, but Jagan did not tell that. Jagan did not tell that because Jagan did not want to create a conflict. Jagan did not want to create a conflict, right? Jagan wanted to say an Orthodox Hindu woman would never clip her hair as you have done, but actually remarked, it is long time since anyone attended to these things in this house. How did you know that Friday is auspicious? I have friends who tell me what is proper, she said. Just as Jagan was thinking of slipping away, a window opened. Malik was peeped out and commanded, Father, come in for a moment. Mali commanded. Please highlight that. Mali commanded. So normally in a house, father is commanding children. Normally in a house, your father may commanding you, right? Dua, puta, daughter, son, come here. Father will command you. That is natural. But in this particular house, it is different. Where the son is commanding father. Can you understand that? Son is commanding father, right? The son is commanding father, saying that, father, come here, you want to talk, right? So son has become the father and father has become the son. This is what we call reversal of roles. Reversal of roles, right? So Mali is talking to his father like that. Hey, come here, I want to talk to you, right? So see the behavior of Mali. You can understand the behavior pattern of Mali. Very much important, right? So just as Jagan was thinking of slipping away, the window opened. Mali peeped out the commanded, father, come in for a moment. I must talk to you. Jagan felt that Grace had only been holding him in a trap and scolded at her accusingly, but she merely said as though she were the she was ushering at a presidential interview, right? Certainly, go in, suggesting that he should feel honored at the summons. Muttering, I have to go, and I opened the shop. Jagan went in. Mali was at his desk and flourished a finger towards visitor's chair, right? So let's see what will happen here. Lowered himself into the gingerly, still. Mali ignored his still, muttering, I must go and open the shop. So Jagan openly said that, I can't. I don't have anything to talk with you. I must go, son. Right? I'm late. I don't want to talk to you. So Jagan wanted to escape. Jagan wanted to flee. Jagan never wanted to continue this conversation, right? You can understand. Mali ignored his plea and asked, have you thought it over? Have you thought it over? Right? Did you take a decision about that? Right? What is it? What are you going to do now? Right? That was the idea. So we are moving to page number 88. Right? Check in your book. What? Asked Jagan, trying to look absent-minded, but he knew he was not wringing it off successfully, for Grace sneaking up behind as if to complete her trapping operations. Held him in a pincer movement. Mali tossed a prospect at him. I mailed you one. Didn't you get it? I mailed you all the information about my Mali enterprises. Didn't you get it? Don't behave like a baby, right? You know everything. I'm going to start Mali enterprises. I have sent you all the details, all the information is there in that particular letter. Didn't you read it? Don't you know about that? This is the question, right? So Jagan said neither yes, no. There was danger in either statement, but his mind wandered off in another direction. How could Nataraj have managed to issue this piece of work so quickly from his press, while his own book remained untouched for so many years? What charm did Mali exercise? As he sat brooding on it, Mali suddenly said, you don't even care to look at it. Father, you don't even bother to look at it even, right? You don't even bother to look at it, right? I have sent you this letter. I'm going to start my business. You don't even care about that. Why are you doing like this, father? Why are you doing like this, right? So this is what the question. Jagan feared that the season of sweet temper was coming to a close and replied mildly, I have looked at it, and I have also noticed that you have put my name in without even telling me. You have put my name also without informing me. I have looked at it. So you have sent me a letter. You have said that you are going to start a business. So without informing me, you have entered my name here. What is the purpose? Is this the way that you show some kind of courtesy? I'm your father. There's no doubt about that. You have all the rights and regulations to use my name. That is not the case. Where is that politeness? Where is that courtesy? That's what Jagan asked, right? So what is happening to you? On the very first day I spoke to you, I spent over 30 minutes in explanations. I asked if I might print your name, and didn't you say go ahead? Father, don't talk like that. I asked from you without printing the name. You said that it is okay, that is totally fine, right? So now you are telling something else. What is the reason, right? Mali's temper had now risen. Grace saw the symptoms and stepped in to say, on the very first day, when he explained his scheme, so Grace came into the middle and she tried to explain now. No, father, the very first day, right, when we met, he used to ask that, I think you may have forgotten. So now Grace is acting here. Can you understand? So Grace is providing her full support, right? Grace is providing her full support. Father, I will explain. Can you remember, Father, that day when we were having the conversation, he asked from you. I think you may have forgotten, right? So see the support given by Grace for Mali. See the support given by Grace for Mali, right? Very much important. Oh, yes, of course, yes, said Jagan, realizing that he could have said anything at any time. He added mildly, yes, but I naturally thought you would tell me again before actually going to test, right? Okay, you have informed me, but at least you should have told me, right? You should have told me, right, before going to the press. I really do not know what you mean. You expect everything to be said 10 times. No wonder nothing gets done in this country. Very important quotation, my dear students. Please highlight that. Please highlight that. I really don't know, right? I really do not know what you mean. You expect everything to be said 10 times. No wonder nothing gets done in this country. This clearly shows us generation gap, right? This clearly shows us generation gap. On the other hand, this quotation can be taken as the conflict between tradition and conflict between traditional and modern culture, right? Traditional and modern culture, right? Mali is not happy. Mali is not happy. Mali said that අයියෝ මට මේ රටේ ඉන්න එපා වෙලා තියෙන්නේ එකම දේ 10 පාරක් කියන්න වෙලානේ තාත්තේ ඕගලන්ට එපා වෙලා තියෙන තාත්තම නැත්තම් මේවා මේ රටේ කිසිම දෙයක් හරියට වෙන්නේ නැහැ. So you can see the mentality of Mali. You can understand the mentality of Mali, right? You can very clearly see that he's not happy. So this is not the mentality of Mali. This is the mentality of most of the youth who lived in the post-independent period of India after Mahatma Gandhi's death. After Mahatma Gandhi's death. This is what you have to understand. Why do you blame the country for everything? So Jagan is asking the question. Why are you blaming my country? So patriotism, can you understand, right? Again, you can take the entire part. This clearly shows us the conflict between the traditional culture and the modern culture. So Jagan is asking the question, for whatever the problems that come across you, why are you blaming the country? Right? Don't do like that. This is our motherland. You should not talk like this. Why are you blaming the country? So you can see the quotation. Why do you blame the country for everything? It has been good enough for hundreds, millions, right? For you, the country is not good. This is not a good place to live. But make sure to remember, for hundreds, millions of years, it had been good, right? So it was a good place to live. Jagan said, remembering that heritage of Ramayana and Bhagavad Gita, right? So I will move on from there. We are in page number 89, right? And all these trials and sufferings he had undergone to win independence. He muttered, you were not born in those days. You were not born in those days. Don't talk about the nuisance that you didn't know it, right? You were not born on those days, right? So don't talk to your country like that. Whatever the problems that occur to you, you make sure to manage it yourself. Don't blame the country. Very important to the traditional and modern culture. Traditional and modern culture. Jagan is a patriot. Jagan loved his country. Jagan loved his tradition. Jagan loved his motherland, right? So he did not like when Mali was trying to, let the country down, right? He did not allow that Mali to let the country down. Mali made the gesture of despair. I do not know what you are talking about. I want to get on with our business. We had 2 long sessions and I told you everything, and now Grace interposed to say, Father, if you have any questions, I'm sure Mali is glad to answer them. Father, don't shout here, right? If you have any questions, I'm pretty sure that Mali will answer them. So we don't have to bring the conflict here, right? So we are cool, right? So that was the idea. That was the idea. So Grace is a very important character. You can understand the behavior of this particular girl, right? Very powerful behavior can be seen, right? So he is trying to console the problem. On the other hand, he is trying to persuade the father as well, right? Persuade the father as well, right? Okay. Jagan felt like a man in a witness box that anything he uttered might be used as evidence against him. He said, I must be going now. I have to open the shop. So look at the language, right? Used by R.K. Narayan, right? Jagan felt like a man in a witness box. He is inside the witness box, inside the court. Yes, Your Honor. Did you say something like this? No, Your Honor. Did you say something like that? Yes, Your Honor. Something like that. So whatever the things that he will say will be taken against him. So he did not want to speak. Can you understand? He did not want to speak. It is like a courthouse. This is not Jagan's house. This is not Mali's room. It is a courthouse, right? So Jagan was totally upset. Very beautiful language. The diction is quite admirable. I must be going now. I have to open the shop. Mali said, we have to make a beginning. Our associates are waiting on us. We will lose everything unless we act at once. I have explained to you the basis of our participation. $50,000. Whatever its equivalent might be, it was a staggering sum. I am a poor man. I am a poor man. I don't have that amount of money. I'm a poor man. You are asking money from me now. Mali is asking money from his father in order to buy that subscription, right? In order to buy that subscription. I am a poor man. Jagan wailed and immediately noticed that the shock on Mali's face and the embarrassment he had created before Grace. It was as if he had uttered a bad word. Seeing this, Jagan said, Gandhi always advocated poverty and not riches, right? And yet you, and yet you can your thousands rupees a day, and yet you earn your 1,000 rupees a day. Oh, what is it? Asked Mali with a vicious smile. Now you say that you don't have money, but you earn 1,000 rupees a day. You are not paying income tax as well. Now you tell me that you don't have money, but I know that you are going to earn more than 1,000 rupees a day from that shop, and you are not paying the income tax as well. So Mali knew the truth about Jagannath. In chapter number 1 and chapter number 2, can you remember we discussed about this? Can you remember we discussed about this, right? Then Mali said that, you don't have money. You are a poor person. That is the idea. So shall I tell you? Make sure to remember, I know that you earn 1,000 rupees a day from the shop. You expect me to do that? Right, okay. If you feel you can take up the business and run it, do so. It is yours if you want it. Okay, right. If I'm going to earn that money from the business, you can take over my business and do it. Don't shout. You can take over my business and you can do it, right? So it is yours if you want it. You expect me to do that? I have better plans than to be a vendor of sweetmeats. Very powerful quotation. See how Mali humiliated his father, right? See how Mali humiliated his father. Very important, my dear students. You expect to do that? I have better plans than to be a vendor of sweetmeats. I have better plans than that. I don't want to do the vendor of sweets. I have better plans. I have better plans than that. I don't want to become a vendor like you. So he is humiliating his father. He is humiliating his father. Very important. Jagan did not wait to hear more. He pushed the chair back very slowly and gently pausing for a second to study the faces of the other two. For once, he saw Grace's eyes unlit with a smile. It was impassive. Is she a good girl or a bad one? So Jagan was thinking, is she a good girl or a bad one? Jagan asked within himself. I wish I could decide. Mali was biting his thumbnail and kicking the foot. Right? So we will move on from there. Right? Rest below the table. Jagan did not have the courage to stay and face him. Without another word, he took his upper cloth off and hook and was out of the room in a moment. When he was past the cupboard and the confluence of the vagrant said, my master does not even look at me nowadays. The vagrant means the beggar, right? So he met the beggar again. So the beggar said that, my master do not, what do you call, recognize me even. Why is that, right? My master does not even look at me nowadays. I gave you 5 paise only. He couldn't remember when he concluded. I am a poor man like you. Do you think I have inexhaustible cash? Do you think inexhaustible means extra cash? The cash that I can use for all the other unwanted luxurious things, right? I don't have something like that. The vagrant means the beggar. The vagrant said, master should not say such a thing. At least this fellow spoke better than Mali in similar circumstances. The beggar used to talk Jagannath in a better way than his own son. Very important. Putta highlight that. Very important, right? The beggar gave more respect to Jagannath. The beggar gave more respect. Right? To understand that. These are the things that you have to pay your attention. Right? The beggar gave more respect. Right? So the vagrant said, master should not say such a thing. At least this fellow spoke better than Mali in similar circumstances, who didn't want him if he did not claim to be a wealthy father. He remained morose throughout the day. At 4:30, the cousin entered the kitchen and came out. He sensed that Jagan was waiting to spring some terrible information on him. Wiping his lips with the towel, he sat down on his stool, remarking, Chandrakala, crescent of the moon, tastes absolutely divine today. And if the reputation of this shop is going to shoot sky high in this town, it will be on the account of it. Chandrakala means a separate type of sweet meat. So Cousin actually enjoyed that. As always, flattery helped. A few webs spread around Jagan's eyes, and he said, it is purity that is important. Yesterday I came early to see that your cow's butter was melted, fried, I won't touch buffalo butter, though it may be cheaper. Gandhi was opposed to buffalo products. I had sent one of the cooks to collect house butter from Koppal, and he came back at 5 in the morning, and I came straight in before 8 in order to melt it right. A fortune had been spent on it, and I did not want to risk overboiling it. You pay attention to every detail. I have often wanted to ask you, why did you choose this business rather than a specialized job? Right? So I just wanted to ask you, like, why have you selected this particular job? What is the reason behind that? That was the question. So this question was raised by Kazim from Jagannath, right? This is how Jagan actually answered. Right. So Jagan said, when I was in jail, I was given kitchen duties, and after coming out of this seemed to be a good business as any other. He was slipping into a reminiscent mood, much to the relief of the Kazim. But the reputation of the shop is all due to Sivaram. But for him, I don't know where I would be. I wanted to serve the public in my own way by making available pure sweets, particularly for poor children. An excellent idea, said the Kazim, deliberately refraining from the reminder that poor children were just the ones who could not afford to buy sweets. He also said it another way, if the stuff is to be pure, a price has to be paid for it. So Jagan went to prison because he worked as he was a rebellion in the Mahatma Gandhi's freedom movement. We call that Satyagrahi. So as a result of that, he was taken into custody and he was kept in police station and he was sent to the prison. And inside the prison, he learned the way of making sweetmeats and everything, right? That's true, said Jagan. He sat brooding for a while and then announced, from tomorrow, the price of everything will be reduced. I have made up my mind about it. Right. Now you can understand Jagan's metamorphosis can be seen, right? So Jagan is going to reduce the prices, right? Jagan is going to reduce the prices. These parts are very much important, my dear students, right? So all this time, we noticed Jagan's character as a character who always ran behind money. Can you remember from chapter number 1, chapter number 2, chapter number 3, we identified Jagan as a character who always ran behind money. Now we can understand, right? He has given up that attitude. He has given up that attitude. Jagan has given up that attitude, right? Now he is not running behind money. The reason is that he understood money is evil. Money is evil. He understood that, right? So he is going to, right? What do you call? I have made up my mind to reduce the prices, right? He is going to reduce the prices of the shop, right? Okay. Why? Asked the Kazim in consternation. Jagan spurned into explanation. He just said, we buy provisions for, let us say, 100 rupees a day, and the salaries of our staff and the recent amount to, let us say, 100. He lowered his voice, and the staff produced need not earn more than, let us say, 200 in all. Now the truth is, he began, but slurred over the details at the last minute. Not wishing to reveal the actual figures, more people will benefit by a reduction. More people will be benefit by reduction. But you are opposed to the eating of sugar, aren't you? Jagan took time to digest this contradiction before saying, I see no connection. If others want to eat sweets, they must have the purest ones. This is all. I am thinking particularly of children and poor people. What about your share? The other asked tastingly. I have enough, Jagan said. The Kazim sought further explanation like someone scrutinizing and saying a tricky diplomatic statement. Enough of what? He asked. Of everything, right? So enough of what? Enough of everything. Now I am enough of everything. Enough of everything. We will reduce the prices. There is no point of earning money. Why is that? Because my son is not following me. Because my son is not following me. So there is no point of earning money. I have earned a lot of money in order to make a better future for my son. That was my major motive. But now I have given up. Now I have given up. If you are thinking of retiring from the business, I am sure someone will be willing to take it over and run it. Oh, it is not so easy, Jagan said. I told Mali so this morning and he said he remains silent. Right? I asked from Mali whether he likes to continue the business. Then he did not tell anything because Mali humiliated him. Don't forget that after Ambika's death, Jagan is the one who provided all the luxuries, each and everything to Mali. How did he provide them? From this particular shop. So it is not, we can't justify the statement of Mali. Mali cannot talk like that. Mali cannot humiliate his father saying that I don't want to become a vendor like you. You should never humiliate your parents especially when it comes to their professions. You may be a doctor, engineer, lawyer, president. But make sure to remember, your father, your mother is the person who provided that financial stability by engaging in that particular profession. So don't underestimate, or else don't take that profession as a joke, right? So he remained silent. Recollection of the scene, he felt would overwhelm him. He might break down, and it would be silly to be seen in tears while he was occupying the thought. He had a mental picture of himself standing like a wretched petitioner in the presence of Mali and the Chinese girl being sneered at for his business of a lifetime, a business that had provided the money for Mali to fly to America and do all sorts of things there. Can you understand? Even Mali went to America from Jagan's business. Jagan earned that money, right? He did not pay the income tax. That is a different case. That is a different scenario. But whatever said and done, Mali went to America even from Jagan's money. So Mali, it is not fair enough to talk like that. Can you understand? So Jagan explained that even my son went to America using the money which I have earned from this particular shop. He told me, you are a vendor. He humiliated me. He did not like my profession. But make sure to remember, you became a man, from a child to a man, from the money that I have earned from this particular shop, right? Vendor of sweetmeats. Indeed, Jagan became aware of the cousin waiting for his reply and said quickly, he was not interested in vending sweets. The cousin felt that this was the right time to sound sympathetically and said, what better income could one have? But you see, his ideas are different, as you know. Money is an evil. Very much important. Please highlight, my students. Money is an evil. Money is an evil. Very important. Jagan said, uttering an oft-repeated sentiment, we should all be happier without it. We should all be happier without it. The person who ran behind the money right now openly says that money is evil. We should not use money. Money can be identified as a corrupting agent. Money can be identified as a corrupting agent, right? So in chapter number 1, 2, 3, 4, we saw what kind of effort put by Jagan in order to earn a lot of money. He did not pay income tax, right? He used to sell all the leftover sweets, right? He did not pay the income tax. Whatever the money came to the shop after 6 o'clock, he did not enter that amounts into the ledger books. He always wanted to earn money. But in chapter number 6, after exactly 2 chapters, he says, money is an evil. So you can understand the metamorphosis, the complete change that occurred in Jagan's character. The complete change occurred in Jagan's character. No need to earn money. No need to earn money. Captain, he shouted, who are those boys? What do they want? I will send them away, sir. No. Right? I will send them away, sir. No. Tell them that the boy at the counter, give them each packet and then send them away. Previously, in chapter number 1, 2, 3, he said to the captain, the security officer, Captain, this is not a charity house. This is not a charity house. Chase them away. If they don't have money, it is not my problem. Their parents should earn them and give them money to buy sweets. This is not a charity house. But now he says, Captain, give them free of charge. That is totally fine. Now Jagan has changed. What is the reason for this change? Can anybody tell me? Can anybody tell me what is the reason for this change? Anyone? Anyone? What is the reason? Why suddenly Jagan changed? What is the reason? Why do you think that he has changed himself? Right? Mali's corrupted attitudes. Exactly. Mali is asking for money. Exactly. Right? So he understood that money is the nuclear problem. He understood the fact that money is the nuclear problem. That is what we can understand. Who cares? I can afford to give away. Boy, he shouted from his throne. Feed those children. The children got their sweets and went away, greatly surprised. Even they can't even imagine. Right? This particular person is giving sweets free of charge. Right? So they can't even imagine. So Jagan has changed. Chapter number 6. Very much important. Jagan has changed. Jagan's change is clearly explained in the story. Jagan has changed. Remember, right? Okay. If these boys go out and tell others, you will be mobbed and unable to leave the place. We will manage, don't worry, said Jagan. In a day or two, some changes are coming. The cousin looked scared and said, Don't be hasty. Go out and on a pilgrimage to the temples and bath in the sacred rivers. I will mind the shop if you like while you are away. I will tell you when I am ready. The boy from the front stall now brought in the bronze jug. The cousin who usually timed his departure at this point got up but did not leave. Curious to know whether Jagan would accept the cash or just throw it out, Jagan pulled out the drawer, spread the folded towel to deaden the noise of the cousins cascading down, looked up at the cousin and said, "Tonight and tomorrow I will do a lot of reckoning with concentration. I have left things to drift too long." The cousin, worrying whether these hints were leading, said, like the peace market he was, "I will speak to Mali. I know I can talk to him, even to that girl. She is so trusty. By all means, speak to him on any matter you like," Jagan said, and added with firmness, "but not on my behalf. But not on my behalf." All these time periods, Jagan used to utilize. Jagan used to utilize cousin to have the conversation. But now, Jagan has taken an independent decision. Jagan said that when cousin said that, "Don't be upset. I will talk with your son. I will talk with Grace as well. We will try to solve this problem." Then Jagan said that, "If you want to talk, you can go and talk. Don't talk to him on behalf of me. I am not going to send you again to talk with him and have some conversation. Ane, please, my dear cousin, I am not going to beg like that. If you want to talk, you go and talk. Don't talk on behalf of me." Right? So Jagan's firmness can be identified. Jagan has changed, right? In chapter number 1, in chapter number 3, chapter number 4, Jagan begged from cousin, "Please, my dear cousin, please ask him not to go America. I love him. I don't know how to live in this house without him. Please ask him whether he needs any stationery to write a book. Please go and ask." He begged. But now, chapter number 6, very powerful utterance is given by Jagannath. Yeah, he says, "By all means, speak to him any matter you like. You talk any matter that you like, not on behalf of me." Right? I am not going to take you to have a conversation with him again. Right? So this clearly shows us the emotions of Jagannath. Very powerful, right? Emotions are very powerful. These things you have to understand, right? So a lot of students have sent me the answers, right? Okay. So can you understand the story up to now? Send me a message. I'm not going to tell you names. Just send me a message whether you are okay with the story. Honestly, yeah, because you pay and come to the class. It's not a free class, so right. If anybody say no, I will start. Right, okay, I'm happy for you, right? I'm happy for you, right? I try my level best to give this story to your mind where anybody can understand what actually happens. That is why I tell you reading is important, right? Without reading, we can't understand. Right, okay. Right. So did we right. So we are going to start chapter number 7, is it? Do we have to start with chapter number 7? Right. So chapter number 7 we will do next week because it's very difficult for me to read this again. Right. So today we have finished chapter number 6. We have completely read the chapter and we understood what actually happened. We highlighted all the difficult words and especially the quotations. Next week we are going to start with teacher's note. This entire chapter number 6 will be explained by myself from my words by referring to important quotations, right? So make sure to participate for that class. I hope you guys are reading the story. Even if you don't read the story, I will read the story for you because then it will be very much easier for you. If you go through the video, entire idea can be taken into your consideration. Chapter number 6, we have done one video log. This is chapter number 6, second video log. Explanation of the text is over. We are about to start chapter number 7. But the teacher's note should be there, right? Yeah, morning grade 11s will have the class tomorrow, right? We are doing revision for grade 11s tomorrow, right? We have to do, we will start farewell to the barn and stack country. Not for grade 10s. Grade 10s, don't be upset. You can cover all the lessons that you did not cover from January onwards. I am starting the 2024 batch. So you can join with them and you can do all the lessons that you didn't do, right? So don't get upset. That is specially designed for grade 11 students so they can join and they can finish it off. Right. So thank you so much. I will provide you the recordings. Have a nice day. We will meet next week. God bless. 5 o'clock in the morning.